Hello, I'm Arti, and today we will be discussing the right way to attempt pie charts for a 9-band score. Getting 2 or more than 2 pie charts can be a nightmare for students. So in today's video, we will discuss the strategies to attempt multiple pie charts. Let's look at the question first. Now we have 3 pie charts and a question statement. And the question statement says, the 3 pie charts below show the changes in annual spending by a particular UK school in 1981, 1991 and 2001. Let us also look at the pie charts. We can see that the various commodities where the school is spending are other workers' salaries, insurance, teacher salaries, furniture and equipment, and resources. Interpreting data from these 3 pie charts can be a little cumbersome, confusing. So I would recommend that you should jot down the points in a simpler way. And the best way can be to convert this data into tabular form. This should be done in the beginning of the task, and trust me, this will not take more than 2 minutes. So moving ahead, let us first talk about the introduction. I'll read the introduction for you. The pie charts elucidate the changes in annual school expenditure on various commodities, namely teachers' salaries, insurance, furniture and equipment, to name a few, by a particular school in the UK from 1981 to 2001. Now, it is strongly recommended that you should not directly copy from the question statement, and this is the reason I have made some changes. Let's look at them. In place of show, I have used the verb elucidate. And the question statement says changes in annual spending, and for that I have used the phrase annual school expenditure on various commodities. Now, using namely is a very good idea, and please don't give all the commodities that have been mentioned. You can just name 1, 2 or 3 of them. And finally, rather than writing 1981, 1991 and 2001, I've used the phrase from 1981 to 2001. So this was all about the introduction. Let us now move to the overview. Now, overview can be a little difficult for students. So let us see what we can infer from the table we have made. Now we can see that in 1981, largest amount of money was spent on 2 things, that is teacher salaries and other workers' salaries, as it is around 68% in 1981, 72% in 1991 and 60% in 2001. So we can use this point for the overview. Let's read it. Overall, it can be seen that the total spending on other workers' salaries and teachers' salaries outshone the expenditure on all other given categories over the period of 2 decades. So this was our overview, and now we will be moving to the body paragraph. You can see on the screen that I have a small table that is showing teacher salaries. In 1981, 40% was spent. In 1991, 50% was spent on teacher salaries. And in 2001, 45% was spent. Now we can see that the spending increased from 1981 to 1991, but it fell in 2001. So this is going to be my first point. Annual spending on teacher salaries was the highest in all the given years. This figure, however, surged from 40% in 1981 to 50% in 1991. Thereafter, a plunge of 5% was seen in 2001. The second point that we will discuss is about insurance. Now we can see one important thing, that in case of insurance, the least amount was spent in all the years, but the spending on insurance increased continuously over the given period of time. Although the least amount of money was diverted to insurance in all the given years, the spending on it rose continuously over the 20 years. It quadrupled from 2% in 1981 to 8% in 2001. So quadrupled means a fourfold increase. In 1981, just 2% was invested in insurance, but this rose and became fourfold more in 2001. So this can be a very good word for a good score. Let us talk about the third comparison, and this is about furniture and equipment and resources. We can see that in 1981, exactly equal amount was spent on furniture and equipment and resources. But in case of furniture and equipment, this figure plunged, and for the resources, an increase of 5% was observed. So let's read what I have written. The most striking feature of the graph is that the school expended equal amount on furniture and equipment besides resources in 1981. In the next decade, the expenditure on the former item dipped drastically and accounted for 5% in 1991. Nonetheless, the spending on the latter item witnessed a moderate rise of 5% by 1991.